I lean in, my tone serious, because what we're about to discuss isn't just history, it's a warning. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down the 5 biggest financial scams in history, and more importantly, how you can avoid becoming the next victim. These scams wiped out billions of dollars and destroyed countless lives. But here's the thing, every single one of them had warning signs. The question is, would you have spotted them? The masterminds behind these schemes didn't just rely on clever tricks, they counted on people looking the other way, trusting too easily, or being blinded by the promise of easy money. By the end of this video, you'll know what red flags to watch for, how to ask the right questions, and why skepticism is your best financial defense. Let's dive into the first scam that started it all, and see if you would have been fooled. Let's travel back to 1920 Boston. Charles Ponzi was an Italian immigrant who promised investors a staggering 50% return in just 45 days. He claimed to profit from buying and selling international postal reply coupons, a complicated-sounding process that few understood. But the truth? He wasn't making money from postal coupons at all. Instead, Ponzi took money from new investors and used it to pay off old ones. The illusion of success grew, attracting more and more people desperate for quick riches. His office was flooded with hopeful investors lining up around the block, all convinced they'd found the golden ticket. Ponzi's charm and confidence masked the reality. There was no real business, no legitimate investment. The biggest red flag here? Guaranteed high, consistent returns with little or no risk. That's simply not how real investing works. If someone promises you the moon and makes it sound effortless, your alarm bells should be ringing. Ponzi never clearly explained how his business operated, and most people didn't bother to ask hard questions. This is where so many people went wrong. They saw others making money and jumped in, afraid to miss out. But if you don't understand how a business makes money, or if the explanation is vague and full of jargon, that's a sign to dig deeper, or walk away entirely. Ponzi's scheme collapsed within a year, leaving thousands bankrupt. The aftermath was devastating, homes lost, savings wiped out, lives destroyed. But the blueprint he created would be copied for generations. So, what can you do? Always question where the money is coming from. If you can't get a straight answer, or if the returns sound too good to be true, trust your gut and step back. The original Ponzi scheme was a masterclass in deception, but it only worked because people ignored the red flags. Fast forward nearly a century, and the world saw an even bigger fraud, one that would shake Wall Street to its core. Bernie Madoff was a respected financier, former NASDAQ chairman, and trusted by the elite. But behind closed doors, he was running a $65 billion Ponzi scheme, making his scam the largest in history. Madoff sent fake account statements to his clients, showing steady, positive returns year after year, even when the market was crashing. There were no real trades, no actual investments, just a carefully constructed illusion. He relied on his reputation and the trust of his clients to keep the money flowing in. So how did so many smart people fall for it? They didn't verify his credentials or check if he was registered with regulators. They didn't ask for independent audits or do their own research. Many invested their entire life savings with him, confident that his track record was enough. One crucial lesson here, never put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is your best protection against fraud. Even if an opportunity looks bulletproof, spreading your investments reduces your risk. Another red flag was Madoff's secrecy. He discouraged questions and didn't allow outsiders to review his operations. If someone tells you to just trust them, that's your cue to start digging. Transparency is non-negotiable. After decades, the scheme unraveled during the 2008 financial crisis, when too many investors tried to withdraw their money at once. The losses were catastrophic, with charities, families, and pension funds wiped out overnight. To protect yourself, always verify an investment manager's credentials, check regulatory registrations, demand transparency, and don't be afraid to ask tough questions. If something feels off, walk away. Madoff's victims learned the hard way. You sower are bori der bor barger are by our store bari can stay our or bari. Don't get a second chance with your life savings. Now let's look at a scam that came not from a lone wolf, but a giant corporation. Enron was once hailed as America's most innovative company. It dazzled investors with promises of endless growth and complex business models no one seemed to fully understand. But behind closed doors, Enron's executives were hiding billions in debt through off-the-books partnerships and creative accounting. Their financial statements were a maze of jargon and numbers that masked the truth. Investors trusted the hype. Walminkor nasin, over unalminkor dd begafsen, diebauer kotram, erduri nd and the relentless optimism from the top. The company's leadership fostered a culture of secrecy and intimidation, discouraging employees and analysts from asking tough questions. Anyone who raised concerns was silenced or pushed out. The message was clear: don't rock the boat. The warning signs were there, but they were buried under layers of complexity. If a company's financial reports are too complicated for even experts to decipher, that's a red flag. Transparency is the cornerstone of trust, and Enron had none. When the truth finally came out, it was catastrophic. Shareholders lost $74 billion, employees lost jobs and pensions, and the entire auditing industry was shaken to its core. The fallout led to new laws and regulations, but the pain for ordinary people was permanent. The lesson? Don't be dazzled by hype or complexity. If you can't understand a company's finances, or if the numbers don't add up, step back. Ask questions, demand clear answers, and remember, real businesses don't need to hide behind smoke and mirrors. Enron's story is a reminder that even the biggest names can fall, and that trust must be earned, not given blindly. Stay alert, and don't let a slick presentation blind you to the truth. The next scam wasn't orchestrated by a single individual or company, but by an entire industry. The 2008 mortgage crisis started with risky home loans, subprime mortgages, given to people who couldn't afford them. Banks then bundled these loans into complicated financial products and sold them as safe investments to institutions around the world. The system was built on layers of trust, in credit ratings, in banks, in the idea that housing prices would always go up. Few people really understood what they were buying. When homeowners started defaulting, the whole house of cards collapsed, triggering a global recession. The aftermath was devastating. Millions lost their homes, jobs vanished, and entire economies were thrown into chaos. Big banks and financial institutions weren't immune. Some disappeared overnight, while others needed massive bailouts to survive. The red flag here? Don't assume that just because a company's big or has a long history, your money is safe. And never invest in something you don't fully understand. Complexity can be a cover for risk, not a sign of sophistication. Many investors trusted the system and didn't question the safety of their investments. But as we saw, blind faith in institutions can be dangerous. Always do your homework, read the fine print, and ask questions until you're satisfied. If the risks aren't clear, or if you feel pressure to act quickly, that's a sign to slow down. No investment is worth risking your financial future. The 2008 crisis taught us that greed and complacency can be just as dangerous as outright fraud. Today, regulators have tightened the rules, but the most important lesson remains. Your best defense is knowledge. Don't leave your future in someone else's hands. Take the time to understand where your money is going. Let's fast forward to the present. The world of cryptocurrency and investment platforms promises fast profits, cutting-edge technology, and a new financial future. But for every success story, there are countless tales of collapse and fraud. In recent years, we've seen major crypto exchanges and investment platforms disappear overnight, taking billions in customer funds with them. Some were outright scams, while others failed due to poor management, lack of oversight, or simple greed. The common thread: a lack of regulation and accountability. Many of these platforms operated in legal gray areas, with little to no protection for investors. Promises of massive, quick returns lured people in, but when things went wrong, there was often no recourse. The volatility of crypto markets only made things worse. The red flag here is clear. If an investment isn't regulated, or if it's based in a country with weak laws, you're taking a huge risk. Always research the platform, check for security measures, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. Don't be swayed by hype or celebrity endorsements. Scammers know how to create buzz and exploit FOMO. That fear of missing out. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Ask yourself, who is behind the project? Is there transparency about how your money is handled? Can you verify their claims independently? If not, think twice. Crypto and online investments are here to stay, but the risks are real. Protect yourself by staying skeptical, doing your own research, and keeping your expectations in check. The future is exciting, but only for those who proceed with caution. As we've seen, the world's biggest financial scams all had one thing in common. They relied on people letting their guard down. So here's the big lesson from all 5 scams. Greed and blind trust are dangerous. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and always ask questions. If this helped you, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Protect your money, because no one else will. Remember, no investment is worth risking your future. If something feels off, trust your instincts and walk away. The best defense against fraud isn't luck, it's knowledge, vigilance, and the courage to speak up when something doesn't add up. Thanks for watching. Together, we can build a community that's too smart to be scammed. Until next time, stay sharp, and don't let anyone take advantage of your trust.